So back in December, guys, I made the conscious decision to stop playing this joke of a game being Black Ops 6, because I just thought to myself, you know what, guys? There's absolutely no way in hell that this game can get any worse than the launch date of Black Ops 6, right? I figured I'd give it some time, and the game would just be equally as bad and a lot of mediocre content. And although my initial, observations and things that I thought would come true did come to fruition, this game is an absolute joke. Black Ops 6 is an absolute joke. And here we are in season 3 of Black Ops 6, and this game has gotten worse. You know what, guys? This game has brought me out of fucking retirement. I decided to sit here and boot my computer today, make a commentary for you guys, because I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And there's a lot of juicy details in today's video. At the end of the video, we're also going to be going over how much this game actually costs if you were to factor in microtransactions, which is just fucking baffling to me. And I'm sure you guys understand there's a shitload of bundles in this game, but when I tell you the full dollar amount and COD point amount of what you're gonna need to spend in this game, if you want every single thing in the game, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys might have a fucking stroke. But we'll get to that later. So the first thing on the docket today, the first thing on the agenda is the plethora of bugs we have in this game. Of course, it's a Call of Duty game, susceptible to bugs, and of course a lot of the developers are either on vacation or being replaced by AI. But these are just a few of the bugs that are known to the community, but they aren't known to Treyarch, and they're not actively addressing it, even with the update that we received, I believe, today or the day prior to that. So number one, we have the cross-play settings resetting, and I can completely vouch for this because I have a game-shared copy of Black Ops 6 on PS5, and this has been one of the things that just absolutely drives me up a fucking wall when I play it on console. I'm a PC player, but I'm well aware that there's a lot of people cheating on PC, so when I'm playing on console on a controller, I kind of just want to get away from the whole cesspool of cheaters, and I'd prefer to play with people on console only. Now, they added the console only crossplay option, which is fantastic in practice, but of course, one of the known bugs is the fact that you go to toggle crossplay off, you play one game, and it toggles that bitch right back on. So if you don't want to play with cheaters, you don't want to play with Virginator skins, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the little gray robot Terminator Virgin skins running around and cheating on PC, you're kind of shit out of luck, because even if you turn crossplay off, it decides to put it right back on. So explain to me why this is here. Why is there a toggle for this if you're just gonna keep putting it back on? I understand it's a bug, and I do understand there are some workarounds. I believe Exclusive Ace was saying there's some workarounds for that. Like you can go in there, turn it off, and then you close the game and open it up again. Something along those lines. But the fact of the matter is, in a $70 AAA game, there should be no reason for something like this to exist. Why the hell does the crossplay toggle not work? But of course, this is typical Activision incompetence, typical Treyarch incompetence, typical AI incompetence. I don't even know who to blame anymore. But once again, the game doesn't function as intended. The second known bug is the show more in the controller settings page. If you go to your controller settings, you sometimes will see a square for show more. And this is just the peak of incompetence. It just blows my mind that this was an oversight. That's something they didn't even notice. But the show more option is actually pressing square on your controller, or I don't know exactly what it is on Xbox, but you press square on a PlayStation controller, right? And it's supposed to expand a drop-down menu, which is fantastic. But guess what the idiots over at Treyarch decided to bind the reset tab button to? The fucking square button. Like, what are you thinking when you do this? Like, I understand it's not game breaking. I understand you could probably plug a keyboard and mouse in and access it that way. But why in the fuck are you putting the square bind on show more and reset? The third thing, and this is something that I've personally noticed, and this is just stuff I hear off of the internet and people, reporting bugs, etc., on Reddit, whatever other various sources, X, Twitter, whatever, is the fact that I like to warm up through a private match, right? I like to go in a private match. I like to play against bots just to warm my shot up because I'm on mouse keyboard and I sometimes need that little warm up. Maybe there's some controller players that need that little warm up too. Who knows? But I went in there the other day and I go to load up a match in Nuketown and I'm like, I just booted this game up after not playing it for like 3 months, and Nuketown is no longer in the private match pool. It just disappeared. It doesn't exist there. I thought I was crazy. I thought I couldn't see it possibly, but no, sure enough, Nuketown's gone. And it really begs the question. I just sit here and I'm just like completely dumbfounded. How do you fuck up private match? It's private match. It's been in Call of Duty for God knows how long, and you can't even get a basic map pool in there. How the fuck does an update break private match. What did you put in there that made Nuketown completely disappear? Is it for your stupid 420 Blaze fucking town playlist shit? I don't understand. It is a fucking private match. It is not rocket science. We've had it in Call of Duty since its inception, essentially, and it still gets fucked up. But with the bugs aside, even when you completely ignore the bugs, the biggest elephant in the room with Call of Duty, and it has been for years, is the fact that the cheating problem is still off of the charts. What a surprise. Ricochet anti-cheat doesn't work. I've been talking about this forever. I bring it up on every single YouTube video I make regarding Call of Duty, and it doesn't appear as though Ricochet has gotten much better. Now, me personally, I haven't dealt with any cheaters in the small amount of games I've played, but I also took a 3-month break from the game. So the SBMM wants to engage me again. It wants me to keep playing the game. So I'm not going to get back up to my skill level that I once was because I haven't played the game in a few months. I'm a little rusty, and the game likes to say to you, well, here, we'll throw you a bone. So you get hooked back in, and then once the SBMM sticks its teeth back into you, then you're going to have to deal with the cheaters. But me personally, I haven't dealt with any cheaters yet, but I've only played a handful of games. But if you look on Twitter from various different sources, the two I'm going to be using today are Modern Warzone and Charlie Intel / NADESHOT. But the first one here is a Modern Warzone tweet, and this is from May 13th, so this was only a few days ago, and it says, seeing a lot of reports saying that the hacking situation is horrible in Warzone ranked. Not a surprise. And it should also be noted that you're from Deluluville. You're absolutely delusional if you think this doesn't go on in the multiplayer. It just goes on to a slightly lesser extent because you have to pay $70, but this is the joy of having everything in the Call of Duty HQ app, is that if you could cheat in Warzone, your cheats work in multiplayer too, because we all know multiplayer is just one over glorified weapon simulator, weapon level up simulator for Warzone, and Warzone is the greatest thing that ever happened to Call of Duty multiplayer. Am I right? Now, perhaps you just think this is a skill issue, like most people like to comment on my videos talking about how I'm just bad and I play better players than me. That's why I'm not playing cheaters, yada, yada, yada. Even though I've stated numerous times that I get put into cheater brackets because I'm mass reported a lot of the time. And I did get my SBMM data back from Call of Duty when you could request the data, and my average skill rating in my lobbies is about 548, which is actually extremely high and probably better than most of the people commenting skill issue on my videos. But besides that, that's besides the point. Let's hear it straight from the source. Let's hear it from Call of Duty's own NADESHOT, right? The ex-pro player that won a bunch of CDL championships with Optic and also streams Warzone quite frequently. Let's see what he has to say regarding this entire situation.
They got the... Yo, if I see Team Ricochet put out one more fucking tweet patting themselves on the back about the amount of hackers they banned, I'm going to fucking lose it! No, we're good. How? Can you spend any time or resources telling people how many people you banned when the hacking has never been worse? It's only getting worse. There were less hackers before they tweeted about all the hackers that they banned.
So after seeing that clip, I don't really agree with NADESHOT very often on many things because he's been one of those people that is okay with bundles and all the monetization that they do in Call of Duty now. But I'll have to say with this, I'll give him credit. He hit the nail on the head. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how many accounts you've banned. Nobody cares how many manually reviewed things you've done and banned 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 players. Nobody gives a shit because the cheating is still there. It's still en masse. It's at a massive scale. It's worse now than it's ever been. And you can't even point towards any other games that have this exact same problem. Show me the same amount of cheaters in Fortnite. Extremely popular game. Show me the same amount of cheaters in that game. Doesn't exist. Apex, another big game. Show me the same amount of cheaters that Call of Duty has in Apex. Doesn't exist. The only game that I think is even comparable to Call of Duty on the cheating scale is Counter-Strike, and that's a PC exclusive game. So obviously there's going to be cheaters, and I'm not making excuses for that game either, but we're not talking about Counter-Strike right now. We're talking about Call of Duty. Fix your fucking shit. And even with that being said, even if you just completely overlook the cheating, the bugs and the cheating themselves are bad enough for a $70 game. But the fact of the matter is, they need more manpower to deal with this. Microsoft does, Activision does. They need more manpower in order to figure this out. Now, obviously, I'm not under any impression that they're putting any sort of resources, allocating anything towards making the game better by fixing bugs, making sure the game releases properly, making sure their anti-cheat functions. But I saw a tweet here and I am absolutely disgusted with what I'm reading. And that tweet is here from Charlie Intel. It says, Microsoft says it's laying off 3% of the company's workforce, another 3%. We got a bunch of layoffs before. So that's another 3% down the drain. And you guys can all take a guess as to where the actual people are going. They're losing their jobs and then AI is taking over. Anyways, the tweet continues by saying, we continue to implement organizational changes necessary to best position the company for success in a dynamic marketplace. Microsoft tells CNBC. Not clear how many are impacted in the gaming division. So obviously this doesn't specifically state that it was from the gaming division, but they're cutting more people over at Microsoft. So I think it's safe to say, or at least kind of extrapolate, that there probably is some people from the gaming division and they're more than likely cutting things from there, but that's purely speculation. The fact of the matter is, with all of the bullshit you have in this game, with how garbage everything is, and how much worse the game has gotten since Microsoft has taken over, cutting people and making them lose their job probably isn't the play. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section below. Now, before I end off the video here, I'd like to get to the last point, and I'm sure this is the point all of you have been waiting for this entire video, and this is the monetization portion of the video. Now, I want it to be stated just so I can kind of bring and drive my point home to you guys. This is a $70 game that's full of fucking bugs all the time, and a non-functioning anti-cheat that allows cheaters to run rampant and ruin everybody's experience. Updates break shit and make various different things not function properly in the game. That in itself is not acceptable for a $70 game, but the absolutely disgusting amount of microtransactions in this game, I think, is even worse than all of those things put together. Now, I'm going to go over this in a video that's more in depth in the future, that's going to include battle passes, event passes, all the other bullshit that you can buy. But this figure that I'm giving you is going to be just the operator tab of the Black Ops 6 store, right? So if you go through all the operators and add up the COD points together, this is minus the ones that you actually have to pay real money for, right? So I'm in Canada and I think there's one that's like $6.99 and then there's another one for like $4. So these are just the operators that have a COD point value attached to them. Now, all of those added together, get this, is 241,100 COD points. Now, you're probably thinking about that and saying, well, fuck, how much is that in real money? Well, I got you covered because I asked Gemini, which is an AI assistant. I asked Gemini if they can give me how much in USD it would actually cost to buy every single operator skin in the game. And essentially what Gemini told me, and I'll put this screenshot up on screen, there's a combination of COD points that would allow you to get 241,300 COD points. You wouldn't be able to get the 241,100. And that combination would be essentially 18 10,000 plus 3,000 bonus COD point bundles, one 5,000 COD point plus 1,200 COD point bonus bundle, and one 1,000 plus 100 bonus COD point bundle. This in total would give you 241,300 COD points. So it would give you 200 more than what you actually need because you can't get that to an even number. There's no way to actually buy with the way they kind of distribute the COD point amounts. And they do that on purpose. So you have to buy more. So you spend more money in the shop, whatever. We all know this. But at the end, you'd have 241,300 COD points, which would allow you to buy every single operator in the game. And that total equals out to, for a $70 game, $1,859.80 USD, and you'd have a whopping 200 COD points left to go buy what? Future bundles, whatever the fuck, because we're only in season 3. We're halfway through the fucking life cycle of the game. We already have almost $2,000 USD worth of bundles in this game. And it's not even the bundles that bother me really that much. It's the fact that the game's broken, but there's fucking bundles in the shop every single week. If you're accepting of this and you just take the mindset of, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it, because I'm sure I'll get plenty of comments in this video, you need to give your head a shake. It's not even about buying the bundles or not buying the bundle. It's about the fact that core issues with the game exist. They choose to ignore said core issues and then put $2,000 worth of bundles in a game that costs $70. If you want to do that shit in Warzone, that's a free-to-play game, sure, go ahead and do that. But this is exactly why we need a separate storefront for a $70 title and a Warzone title. And this is why, exactly why, we need to separate Warzone and Call of Duty from the COD HQ app in general. Black Ops 6 needs to be its own thing, and Warzone needs to be its own thing. You want to over monetize the shit out of Warzone, go ahead and do that. But do not give the exact same amount of monetization to Black Ops 6, which is a $70 title with all of these issues, a plethora of issues. To me, if you ask me, this is unacceptable, and if you support this kind of behavior, you need to give your head a shake. Anyways, that concludes my video for today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like the video, leave a comment down below letting me know if you agree or disagree with my thoughts, and I'll catch everybody in the next one. Peace.